The extraordinary story, true story, of the Holocaust survivor who endured 6 concentration camps before joining the hunt for the Nazis and bringing his tormentors to justice. One of those Nazis was the particularly sadistic figure of Armand Goth, who was portrayed by Ralph Fiennes in the film Schindler's List. My guest, 96-year-old Josef Lewkowicz, witnessed carefree murder and horrific cruelty meted out by the butcher of Plaszów. Indeed, he himself had an extraordinary narrow escape from becoming one of God's personal victims. Josef Lewkowicz's memoir, The Survivor, written with Michael Calvin, is out now, and I'm delighted to welcome him to Times Radio. Welcome. At only 16 years old, you were prisoner 85314, a number. Following the Nazi invasion of Poland, you were one of many rounded up and herded into camps. What happened on your arrival in camps?
We didn't arrive in camp so fast. We were selected in a town called Auschwitz. We were taken for a whole day. A half a day we were sitting. The order was at night, tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock, everybody has to be sitting at the marketplace. Leaving your home, you're allowed to take 10 kilos and sitting on the marketplace. So 6 o'clock, everybody left the house, sitting in the marketplace till the afternoon. Then everybody up, go to the train station, filled up the train station, the train. There were a lot more people, about 18,000 Jews at the time. So they, with trucks, they took us, we were in the train actually, took us to another town called Mauthausen, took us on a big field as far as the eyes could see, grass and field. Sit down. That was the afternoon, sitting down there. The night came, night fell. We started feeling very moist. Little by little, more noise, then we sit in water. So sitting half to the waist in water a whole night, cold, freezing. It wasn't summertime, but chilly. A whole day, nothing, not a drink, nothing. The whole night sitting there in the morning, we get up, we woke up, they came, and we're still in that situation. Up until the afternoon or something, in the afternoon, everybody got up, get up, everybody line up, lines. At top of the line, there was one assessment with a whip, didn't talk. There were 2 assessments in the sides. There was one, the one was playing the role of God.
Yeah.
And the way he pointed, the other guy pushed you, give you a push there. Pointed to this side, he gave you a push there. End of the story. From the 18,000, 17,250 was to the right, and 750 to the left. My father, myself, we were among the 750. Those 750, we went sent to camp.
Yeah.
Get at the camp, we started a small camp somewhere. We came there, they didn't have even, it was straw in a big hall. We all, these 750 people lying on straw. They did 17,200, we no connection, no, separated. Figuring we went to one place, they went to other place. We didn't know. So we went taken to a camp there, and they put us to work, called Lishki, a place, to work on a swamp.
Uh-huh.
So we were sinking in that swamp. We have to build channels and put in pipes. They call it drainage.
Were you building another camp in this swamp?
No. That was to dry. That was to drain. To dry
drain
out
the swamp.
what?
To drain the swamp.
To drain the place. Yeah.
But
It was for a few weeks, maybe 2-3 weeks.
But then later on, with your father, you were tasked to build.
So,
yeah.
So we do that. After that, they send us to another camp, and the camp was on a Jewish cemetery called Jerusalemska. They came with big earth movers and destroyed all the graves, leveled out. I was walking with a shovel, collecting the remains, bones, skulls, putting my left hand side was a guy with a wheelbarrow. I put all the remains there. He went to dump his wherever they told him to dump. On that place, leveled out, we started building barracks. There were engineers, we were just
You were the labor.
The labor,
Yeah.
they were building barracks. Then we went around with wire, with barbed wires, rolls, big rolls, and so we were I was one of those. It was called the Barackenbau, the builder of the barracks.
So you're in this camp then that you've built it.
And once I built it.
Once it's built, you're in Plaszów.
They called it Plaszów.
Yes, and you're there when Amon Goth arrives.
Yes, before him was not good but livable.
Yeah.
And then they brought a lot of people. They built about 200 barracks, big camp. And they brought hundreds and thousands of people there. And then came a commandant called Amon Goth, and then it became terrible night. There was never day with him.
He was a prolific murderer. You witnessed him murdering people in front of you.
Shoot to so many people in front of me. Give you one example. 2 rows of me in front. We've always lined up in rows to send to different works. There was a man called, I knew him and I knew the brothers. As a matter of fact, with the younger brother, I was a friend. His name was Shlomo Spielman. Amon Goth passes by and looks at him and said, "Step out." So he steps out. You understand German? No?
Yes, I understand German.
Ja.
Yeah.
Ich kann das nicht vertragen, dass ein Jude so herrlich aussieht.
Too handsome a Jew.
I cannot take it that a Jew should look so handsome. Pow.
Huh.
No, you need more than that?
That.
You need more. Mr. Connor, I forgot the first name already, it's roughly 80 years ago. They found a piece of chicken. He was working outside somewhere. And some Pole or somebody, they gave him a piece of... They found that piece of chicken by him in the pocket. Chicken. Assembled the whole camp on the Appellplatz and to bring him to the gallows and hang him for having a piece of chicken. It was to scare us, to demoralize us. They hanged Mr. Kana and their gallows broke, or the cord broke, and he fell down. And Amon Goth was a little bit away from there, walked out, took out the gun, gave him a few bullets. When I caught him, I said, I mentioned those things, Spielman, I mentioned it to him. Why did you do that? Do you know there's an international law, if somebody is condemned to die by hanging and by chance the gallows breaks or the score, he does not die anymore. Mm-hmm. You can give him whatever penalties, life sentence, whatever. Not you shot him, you murder. it was not livable with him. He
Yeah.
went through the camp. He left on his trail a few people dead. And when you saw him, you couldn't really even work because you were shaking. You never knew what that murderous mind, what.
He came close one time to murdering you, did he not?
That was a big story. I'm not going into with it, but he thought I was dead.
Mm-hmm.
He thought that I'm not. The story is, in short, he went always with the Jewish police chief, Lewkowicz, always with him. Before I went to Lewkowicz, I was a little boy at the time. I had the courage and I said to Lewkowicz, I will shine your boots. They will shine like the sun. So I said, come in the morning before the siren. And why did I say that? Because they had a little bit raw food, and I'll give me whatever it is. I need a little bread, a few crumbs, anything, a little soup. So I came there, and he used to shine his boots, and he always gave me something. And that was gold. That was like you would talk millions today.
Yeah.
It was a matter of survival, to live, not to die. So he sort of, when he asked me to come down from what I was doing there, because he shot the guy that was downstairs, I had to chop the bricks. Anyway, he asked me to come down there, and I saw myself dead. I said already, Schweizweil. And then I didn't know what happened. And what happened, I found out later, I was all cut. My skin was cut. I was all the hurt and in pain. And I was in the hospital. And then they put all bandages around me. But when I came out from the hospital, I couldn't really remember what happened to me. Why am I, what hit me? It hurts me so much in the back and the front. Came like a block in my mind. When I start feeling better after a few days, I went in the morning to Lewkowicz for something. When I start to get hungry, I felt that I feel better. A bit. He opened the door. Oh, you're alive. Yes, I'm alive. Do you remember the story? Do you remember I'm going to get wanted to shoot you? Do you remember? He started to remind me the whole story. And it sort of come back to me. I said, yeah.
And he beat you up to save your life, basically, did he not? Yeah.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
So when I saw that he was ready, I beat you up. You fainted. You fell on the floor. You know what I told him? Save your bullet, he's dead. So that was one encounter with him. When I got that murder, I said, you bastard that you are. You know in your mind I'm dead? You know that he didn't remember, I don't know, but
yeah.
I assume he doesn't remember any of those things because shooting, killing,
because there were too many.
The two dogs that he had, when he started screaming, those dogs, they jumped on you.
You have scars from these dogs.
My face once.
Yeah.
So I had. There's still something there, but it's after 8 years, and so many times my skin changed. But
so later in the war, you were in the camp with your father. Later in the war, you were separated from your father. You were sent to another camp.
I was with my father in Plaszów.
Yeah.
We built it, and then
you came back,
separated us.
And you came back, and he was gone.
They sent me to a camp called salt mines, Wieliczka. And I worked there on the salt mines. And my father was somewhere else, still in Plaszów. We came back to that. I had a story. I started to escape from the salt mine. Once I came up with the wagon with the salt, and I looked around. There's no. the downstairs 2 or 3 assessment. There were upstairs a few. I looked around everywhere. I didn't see a single assessment.
Mm.
And then finally, I looked in a corner and I saw one of them there. It was busy. So I took the opportunity, and it didn't work. I was a whole night running around there. Where I saw light, I figured someone might have pity on me and said, "Come on, little boy, get a shower and clean up and get to eat something, give me something." I tried a few doors and whatever. And I had a hard time next time to smuggle myself back to the work.
Sure. Yeah.
I was lying in the cornfield, looking at the boots. When I saw the boots, because all the prisoners didn't have boots, the SS had boots. When I saw the boots from assessment pass by, I went. I was afraid to go because if he comes from the back, it will shoot me.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we're back there, and working still in Plaszów for a while. Then they sent me to Auschwitz. They put us up in a long, long train, 160 men in a cattle car. I don't know if you have an imagination of a cattle car, and I don't know if you can imagine 60 people in a cattle car. 60 people in a cattle car would be hard to breathe. It will be like sardines. 160 people in a cattle car. 2 days and 2 nights, and the scorching heat of the summer, the hottest days of the summer. We felt being in an oven, being baked.
Oh.
And after 2 days and 2 without that ring, you can imagine what was going on there. And every time more layers of people, more layers. At the end of when they unlocked the cattle car, I was touching the roof already. We walked out 20.
You walked out 20. 20 people walked out.
140. The average, I found out from later on, from that train, the average survivors there between 15 and 30. Some have 15, 20, I was 20, 25, 30. Our first job in Auschwitz was cleaning the bodies.
These are the people you've been among.
All those people in the train, all that, a way of killing.
Wow.
And a way of killing.
Can you tell me, when you knew the war was over, when you knew that, or at least that your experience was over, you saw planes overhead, you knew it was coming to an end, is that right?
Planes over?
When you knew that the camp you were in was to be liberated.
Oh, that's a big story. We are jumping now from Auschwitz.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a few different camps.
You were in many camps,
okay, yeah. The liberation you want to know?
Yes, well, I want to come on to your work after the war, because it's fascinating, but I want to understand what it was like for you when the war ended first.
So we were I was in a camp. My father was myself already separated for a long time.
Yeah.
I was in a camp called Ebensee in Austria. And we worked there building tunnels in the Alp Mountains. Mm-hmm. And what were the tunnels? To hide weapons and ammunition, protecting them from the Allied bombardment. I'm not talking about what we did there. I'm not talking the situation there. You want to know the liberation.
Yeah.
In the morning of the liberation, the siren didn't ring. Big surprise. What's going on here? And we're waiting. We lie on those beds, you know. sitting there, lying awake. We won't talk to the other, what's going on? No, don't talk. No. All of a sudden, the siren rings. Later, maybe 2-3 hours later than normal. Everybody on their Pennplatz, I went over there. There was a stage. The commandant of the camp jumped on the stage. He had 5, 6, 7 around SS with him. We want to protect you from the enemies. We want you all to go into the tunnels.
Uh-huh.
To protect you, we want to protect you from the enemies. There was a rumor in the camp that all those tunnels were mined. They wanted to drive us in there and to blow us all out. So guess what happened? When they gave the command that we all should go to there was a big yelling, 9, 9, 9. So for a split second, they started shooting. We ducked on the floor. And when that shooting stopped, a second or two, I lift my head and looked at the stage. The stage is empty. Look around everywhere. No sign of any of the SS. And we talked to each other. What do you think? What's happening? Strange. Nobody knows what's going on. I had there a guy. He used to be a capo from Austria. A good guy. I'm not going to... A lot of stories about him with it. The name Lolo. And he was a capo. A good one. Oh. One older man, I have just a story. One older man said, Eden, you Jews, you know what date is today? Nobody knows. Every day the same day. Today is Yom Kippur.
The Day of Atonement, yes.
So it's, Yom Kippur. An older man, he knew, he said, nobody, but by us, every day was the same day. Yom Kippur. So Lolo heard, so he called me, Josef, what's going on? I said, this is the holiest day of the Jewish people to hold from the whole year. Really? Put down the shovels. Mm-hmm. We were working on the air track, or the train tracks.
And he was a capo. So to explain to listeners, he was a Jewish prisoner, but who was working as a guard.
He was a German.
He was a German, yeah. Right?
He was not Jewish.
He was not Jewish, right? Yeah. Okay.
So I told him it's the holiest day. Throw down the shovels, lie down on the floor, don't work out such a holiday. I will. There was big piles of. We were putting gravel on the tracks and putting woods. Whatever. I will stand on top of those on the pile of.
Yeah.
The SS used to cruise around. Could be 1,000 people working there on a mile or 2 miles, and there were a few SS running around there cruising. So when I see him approaching, I'll give a yell, Zex, and when he gets the stroller and start working, I'll come down and give you a very good guy. So
he's the guy you're with at the end.
At the end he was from Vienna. He was a criminal, whatever, I don't know for what he's sitting there. Anyway, and so it was when he saw the SS, he came down. Then he said, "Lie down, don't work." Oh, well, good guy. Anyway, I said, Lola, what's going on? We're going back to the last day. I said, I have no idea. You know what? Let's go. The camp was big. Let's go we were sitting at a certain place there, not far away from a certain end to the camp. Let's go to the end, have a look there. So we went to the end of the camp, and we stand there and away from the wires and everything. And there was a walking pad between the two double wires. outer wires and inner wires. The inner wires were always electrified, the outer wires not. And then that part, occasionally they had a few of the patrols running around. And we see all of a sudden an old German soldier, not SS, from the Wehrmacht, walks with a long coat, with an old rifle. I can still have it in my mind. So he said, "Hey, what are you doing? Hey, what are you doing here?" Said, "Walking." "Who asked you to walk?" My superior said to walk there. "For what?" "I don't know." "Tell me, are the wires electrified?" Said, "No." "Can you touch them?" So he did.
Uh-huh.
The minute he touched them, Lola took two rocks and broke the wires and twisted. He said, "Josef, come out. Let's breathe fresh air. Liberty." Anyway, this is the high mountain here. I looked down. It was like looking out here.
Yeah.
So we went down, breathe fresh air, liberty air. We came back to the camp inside, and inside was chaos.
Uh-huh.
People are beating up the bad guys. People are breaking into the storages, schlepping out, pulling out all kind of food, fighting with each other. That's a total chaos inside. And it took a few hours, late afternoon, an American tank, we didn't know who it was, whatever, and a tank breaks into the main gate, breaks in and comes into the camp, and everybody is around it. I climbed up on the camp, and I didn't know English. I said, "Ich bin a Yid, I'm a Yid, a Jew." One of the soldiers said, "I
Yeah, I am too, yeah. Yeah.
Can you give me something? Took out from his pocket, he gave me something. Some candies, I ate them, but beautiful. I found out later on that it was chewing gum.
And you ate it anyway.
I never knew what chewing gum was. Anyway, it was good that
we're short on time, so we need to jump a little bit. But we're short on time, so we have to jump forwards a little bit.
Right.
But I want to ask you about, so after the war is finished, you've lost everybody. And you
went back to Poland, went to my home, nobody.
And you decide to join the Allies to become... Before this?
Before that, even a short time, I have to mention it.
Yeah, of course.
I was thinking to myself, if I survive, there must be a purpose for my survival.
Yes.
I have to do something. And I remembered my father and an uncle, they were talking about Jewish children, hiding them by non-Jews, hiding them in churches, hiding them in monasteries, hiding them in orphanages, hiding them in private homes, all kind of places. And I say to myself, we lost 6 million, we cannot afford losing more. Let's try, how do we save those children? Where do we find them? I'm not going to details, big details. I got the power to find them.
Mm-hmm.
I could, by the communists, the Soviet Union was occupying Poland at the time. They were the rulers. I had to get close to those guys, get to the general of the security, get papers, full powers to be able to work there and try to rescue those children. It was a terrible, hard job. And nobody talks about it. We talk about the dirt, everybody shouldn't listen to it. This was a year's job.
Mm-hmm.
Hard job. I had to fight with the Mother Superior, so with the nuns, and with the don't ask.
And you're still a very young man at this point. You must have still been a teenager. You're 20 years old, thereabouts?
Yeah, 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
Salvaged 600 Jewish children, brought them into special house, built big hotel we got in the mountains in the Rapkas Rui, and then had nurses and had psychologists, and we had the school, everything, and we had to protect them
Yeah.
for the anti-communist regime. So
Of course.
everything that the communists did, so we get weaponry and everything. That was one of the big 1 year time.
Uh-huh.
After that, I'm finished with it. I couldn't, and then I didn't do any more because it wasn't. I was in danger there. I didn't have good friends because I was very, very rough and very tight, very tough with all those authorities because I wanted to get those children. They didn't want anyway. I left. I left and became a policeman in a DP camp
And
in
you're,
Austria.
and
Bad
you're
Ischl.
and you are now trying to identify and track down Nazis.
Okay.
Yeah.
After being a policeman in the DP camp, I approached the American authorities, and I said to them, I have a mission. I must catch. I gave them a list of 6.
Right.
And I said, this is I have to be after that. None of those 6 I caught.
Yeah.
They gave me a uniform, they gave me documents, and started working. Interrogating families, friends, getting leads, enemies. There was a lot of enemies of them.
Yeah.
Why the enemies? For jealousy.
Uh-huh.
Because Hitler's people, the Nazis, his people, they got everything. The neighbors started to get jealous. They didn't have anything. In the wartime, there's nothing too much.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. We interrogated all the people who run everywhere. Little leads here, little leads there. Didn't do much. It took a year time. Finally, got him. He got others. Got all the 6.
You got all the 6, but
Brought them to justice. Brought witnesses. Brought them to court. I was the court, living in the courts.
when you found Armand Goethe,
Yeah.
you assaulted him and you were reprimanded for assaulting him. Yes.
Found him in a prisoner of war camp in Dachau. He was lying there on the ground like a dog, and the rest like a beggar. Sleeves still here, and fans a little. Standing like a beggar, but when I saw him, my blood was boiling in me. People asked me, why didn't you shoot him? I said, shoot him. Would be giving a gold medal for his work. Suffering. Anyway, when I approached him, I couldn't control myself.
Yeah.
Get up, you dog. I called him all the names he used to call us.
Had you been expecting to see him, or was it a shock to see him?
The what?
Had you been expecting to see him that day?
No, but I was there for a few weeks, interrogating so many battalions, so many the divisions, so many officers.
And then suddenly there he is.
30,000 of them.
Yeah.
There. And all of them said that we have no strangers here. And then one said, that is a stranger there. So I went to that stranger and I approached him. He's lying there like a dog, I'm telling you. And as I approached him, my blood was boiling in me. Came to him, get up, you dog, get up, you whatever, spit in his face, kicked him, punched him. Had to jump, he was tall and short, to jump. I did whatever I could, and I calmed down a little bit. I went into the high command and I said, I got this and this one here. I have to put them in a small cell. He's a very important witness. I need to bring witnesses. It's a big murder, mass murder. Anyway, put him in a little cell. I went in the little cell and sat with him on a little bench and was very quiet. I said, tell me, Amon, why did you do that? Why did you do that? Well, I remembered names and places and situations. I tried to...
Well, he remembered. He remembered nothing, or he wouldn't say. What do you think?
Wouldn't open his mouth.
Wouldn't open his mouth.
Nothing. My purpose to sit down with him and talk to him, I lowered my honor, myself. But what did I expect there? One thing. Maybe there's a remorse.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I can assure you of what I think he would have done it again. This is a murderous. This is a angel of death.
Yeah, yeah. So look, you've had a long and fascinating life since then. Long may it continue. Why do you feel today? What is the importance today of retelling your story? What does it mean to you when you retell it to the world?
People should know what happened, but people are already forgetting.
Yeah.
And they should remember. Why should they remember? They should act. They should act in a very decent and nice way in the world. They should know. They should love people. They shouldn't hate others. They shouldn't be any evil in the world. We should fight against evil. And now we have so much anti-Semitism in so many beautiful countries that used to be once golden countries. They're not so golden, they're not even silver. It's a lot of anti-Semitism. In order to avoid that...
You see that getting worse today? Anti-Semitism, you think, is worsening?
We have to fight anti-Semitism. And we take Schiff, for example, have the Naftali Schiff, JRoots. We go to Poland with youngsters. We teach youngsters. We show them what happened. It is one thing talking and one thing is seeing. Between seeing and talk is a big difference. And it has a lot of impact on the people. It wakes up people. And they're bringing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. The JRoots brings a lot. They deserve a lot of credit, those people. He also was working with me. I didn't want to talk in the beginning. I didn't tell. I wanted to forget what had happened. This man opened my mouth.
Yeah.
He said, we have to talk. We have to tell. We have to teach for a better world. That is the purpose and that is the message. Because our generation is gone. I hardly find any from Poland, talking from Poland especially. Other countries were a little later started the persecutions.
Yeah.
There are more survivors. Poland, hardly any survivors now. And from the few last ones, so we have to talk, we have to tell, and that is the lesson for today's, for the new generation, the young people, to go to schools, to teach them, to tell them.
Yeah, well, look, I'm honoured to have had you talking to me about it all. Josef Lewkowicz, thank you very much indeed. It's been a real pleasure.